So after harvest, the most important thing after harvest that you got to be prepared for is drying and then storing your nuts. And depending on your context, you can dry and store your nuts in the same, using the same method. And this is one of the methods I've used in the past, and I'm playing around with this metal drum as well. But here's a little download on how to make this thing. So this is a centrifugal fan for hydroponics from Amazon. I've had it outside in 4 or 5 hours of sun for the past since last July, and it's April now. So it's gone through some weathering and it still seems to be doing okay. This is $30. This is a little piece of whatever, drain tile or whatever, and then I'm blocking rodents from being able to get in there. That worked at least last year for my black walnuts, which rodents don't like as much. And then I caulk it. So because you're filling this whole thing with nuts on the inside, you have, one second. Because you're filling the whole thing with nuts, there's a decently high pressure on the fan. So you need a centrifugal fan to be able to push the air through well. So the air pushes slowly through all of these nuts, 55 gallons of nuts, and through down to the holes on the bottom, which is somewhat important, and you want the air to go from top to down because the humidity of the air on the ground, at least if you're drying outside, is higher. And in order to make this work, it kind of depends on your 55-gallon drum, but I had to cut the rim off to make it so that this seals really well. You need this to slip on perfectly and push down right here. And you need all other parts to be sealed well. This needs to be closed tight. This needs to be caulked. Otherwise, it'll just come out the side here, and then this needs to be caulked as well. Same thing for this metal drum system. This was a lot harder to make. You have to keep the liner really cool as you're drilling it. Otherwise, you'll get really, really bad smelling smoke, which is toxic. And this is all BPA lines, so who knows what that evaporates into. So these are two main styles of drums I can get used. This one I get used for my neighbor for $15. This I get used for my neighbor for $10. And then I need another one for the top. So this is actually a $20 plus forced air system. This is a $15 plus forced air plus all the having extra special drill bits that are going to wear down and all that. There's another type of drum that my neighbor offers, and this I actually didn't get from my neighbor, but this should work as well because you're just caulking on the centrifugal fan on top of this, and this is this latching type drum, which might be nicer. I don't know, I haven't played around with it yet, but it might be nicer for making a nut drying system. Just a little easier to take on and off with one person. You don't need to jiggle it. When I set down this camera to pull this thing off, it just kind of slips in really tight, which kind of can be hard to pull off. I had to stick my feet around the edge and hold it down with my feet while pulling up. So those are the considerations in nut drying systems. You can do much bigger systems. Levi Geyer in Iowa is doing 120 gallon bins and 500 gallon bulk grain bins using the same concept of a centrifugal fan pushing forced air through nuts, and it works. What else? In Wisconsin climate, it kind of depends on the fall on whether you can store these outside and get good enough drying it depends on the crop, how late maturing it is, and what the moisture content requirements are. So for red oak, when I'm processing red oak, I'm harvesting both late, and last fall we had a really wet fall. So I was both harvesting after October 10th in Wisconsin, and it was cooling off really quick. It was high moisture and things weren't drying off that good. But black walnuts, they harvest much earlier generally, and the moisture is allowed to be a lot higher for black walnuts and hickories when you crack them. You want them to be 5 to 7% moisture maybe when you're cracking, but red oaks you want to be really low moisture and really bone dry. So you might want to bring this inside rather than outside if you're drying red oak.